Hello, I am Anita and this is Life in This Place. Today I am making a rabbit cage, so I thought that I would just show you all how I do that. This is Hank. He's our three-legged, used to be a barn cat, but now he's a house cat because he lost a leg. Yeah, so we're going to be building a rabbit cage. It is 8 foot long by 30 inches wide, and I'm going to be making one cage, but it's going to have three, I can't remember what they're called, 3 spots for 3 different rabbits. So the rabbits won't be able to touch each other. If you put a male and a female rabbit side by side, just with one wire to separate them, they can breed through that, so don't do that. I have three female Rex rabbits who need to find their own individual cages. They're fighting. And so I have to get them into this cage today. Would be lovely. So here I am, and I will show you most of the steps. I'll probably forget something, and I hope you enjoy. So firstly, a couple of the tools that I use and you'll need if you're going to build your own rabbit cages is some wire cutters. Now these are heavy duty, I don't know what you want to call them. It says G6 Plus or something like that on them. They're very heavy duty. If you don't get a heavy duty set of pliers, or snips, then you're going to have a really hard time cutting through the thick wire. Rabbit wire is a very thick gauge because usually the cages are hung, and so you don't want the rabbit or the bottom of the cage bowing. And so it's a very high gauge so that it's stiff and rigid even through the 30-inch expanse. It's not going to be moving around too much on you. And the next thing you need is some rabbit clips, wire cage clips. And I'll just open it up and then I'll show you. I have bought 3 or 4 different kinds of hog panel ties or whatever, trying to find there's the clip. It's just like that. Kind of looks like a J. If I turn it the right way, it looks like a J. And then there's special pliers to apply them. If you see, it has like a wide end and a narrow end. And you take your little clip and you put the wide, the J part in the wide end. If I can. Just like that. And it just kind of sits there, and then you put your 2 pieces of wire in there. You squeeze it. I'm going to waste this one just so I can show you. You squeeze it and see how it starts to roll like that. And then you have your 2 pieces of wire encased in that roll, and it holds together so very, very well. Very well. And like I was saying, I have gotten 3 or 4 different kinds of pliers and clips because I didn't want to have to feed that in every time. So I got these continual feeders where these are kind of lined up, or something like this. This is the best one. It's nice and wide. The other ones are more just like wire that you wrap around, heavy gauge wire, but they don't work well. The other ones, they don't work well at all. I've spent hundreds of dollars trying to make them work, trying to figure out a good one, because I didn't want to continuously put every single one, every new one that I needed in there. But after a while I got pretty good at it anyways, and I wasted all that money. So you don't have to. Just get these ones. This was I'm in Canada, so this at the Peavey Mart cost me $10 or $11. The pliers and the clips are $8 or $10, and prices are always going up, so who knows what they are now. And that's basically all the tools that you need. I'll show you the cage closures later when I'm installing them. So there are 3 different kinds of wire that you use in building a rabbit cage. There's the bottom wire, the sides, and the top. So they're all different. I suppose you could use the bottom for all of it, but the bottom costs more. The wires are in such a way, I'll just try to get a little bit closer here. So it's 1 inch by 1/2 inch. And this is the bottom of the bottom of the wire. So you want to put it, make your cage so that, I wonder if you can see that. See how all of these would, if this is the top of the bottom, then the rabbit will have more wire to step on, instead of if you had it this way, then there's only, it's more of a uneven surface, where this is an even surface. I am building my rabbit cage in the living room today, which I don't recommend, especially on a hardwood floor, because you have all of these little ends and bits that can scratch. Just be careful, right? They can also scratch you, impale you, slice you right open. Wire is fun. So the second kind of wire that we are going to be using is called, it's called Baby Saver wire. Now the reason is because on the bottom 4 inches, 1, 2, 3, the bottom 4 inches has the same wire that is on the bottom, the bottom type of wire. And so if you have little babies crawling around, they can't just slip out because it's a smaller gate, like it's a smaller area instead of the whole 1 inch, because baby bunnies are tiny, and if mom happens to have them out on the wire instead of in a nesting box, then you can lose babies. And then the other, this is 30 inches, so the other 26 inches are 1 inch squares. The different wires also come in rolls. That's the way that I've been purchasing them anyways. I don't know if they come in standard 8-foot sheets or anything, but I bought them on rolls, and this becomes a little bit of a headache. You have to try to bend and manipulate it so that it's not so round. It has to become flat if you want, well, unless you want a round cage, but I don't know. You can do what you want. It's not that difficult, but it's just fiddly. If you overbend it, then you have to rebend it back, and it's just fiddly. Okay, I've cut all of the little bits off the ends. And so now time to put in my first clip. And so this is, I am attaching an end piece to the end of the floor piece. If you can see that. So this is the floor and this is the end piece. See how I've flattened it? It's almost straight. Isn't that crazy? And I'm just trying to get it on there. It's not, I'm not gonna lie to you, the whole process is fiddly. It can be annoying. Sometimes you swear and whatever, right? It is what it is. And we do our best, and best is gonna just have to be good enough. There, I got my first piece on just like that. And now I like to put them, these little clips, every 3 inches, so every 3 squares along the edge. Let's see if we can get a nice shot of this. See where my first one is? I'm gonna just go there, and you can't see it at all. Just like that. And so now it's on there, and the 2 pieces are together. And even with those 2, it would take a little bit of force to actually pull it apart. But we're gonna put them, I'll be putting about 15 on here. 15 or so. So yeah, you need lots of clips, but it's worth it because then you're not gonna have any accidents. Okay, so I got the one end put on now, and just look. Oh, isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? Yay! Now, yeah, it's good. I'm gonna grab one side and put it on, and then I'll show you after I accomplish that. So now I've got this side attached. So it's attached, and the end. And so now I'm just going to attempt to attach them together. Previously, my other cages that I've made, the side walls, the ones that I'm attaching right now, I cut in one big piece, and then I just bent them around the corners and stuff. But that actually didn't attach very cleanly at the corners, because it is a very heavy gauge wire, and it's really difficult to bend at a right angle. I don't have the right tools. I suppose if I had the right tools, metalworking tools, I'd be able to bend it. So I thought I would try it this way this time and see what the results would be. Oh, get my finger out of there. And I missed. It happens. You'll waste a couple here and there, and that's just fine. I'm doing actually pretty okay. I've only wasted 2 so far. They say. Watch, I'll probably waste a bunch trying to get this attached together. Maybe if I go in from the, no, I can't even get it in that way. Let's try this. Come on. Yay! So I'm just gonna run a few down the corner here, and then we'll move on to, I think I'm gonna attach the pieces in the middle to separate it to become 3 cages instead of just one big one. So I've made some progress. I have the 2 end bits and the 2 dividers in that make the 3 different cages. They're called holes, I remembered. When you have a bank of cages, each one is called a hole. The only problem is that with this, I had forgotten, I can't get this through that small 1.5 inch wire on the bottom. I can't get it in there to be able to attach the bottoms. And so I remembered that I had this wire that I usually use, but do you think I could find the wire? So that would have been lovely to just wrap around, and then you just twist it around and it ties it together. It's much less convenient than the clippers, but you do what you can, right? You do how you can. And so I couldn't find that wire, but I found my electric wire for my running my electric fence, and we'll see how it holds. I've tied a bunch of individual knots. If you can see, a bunch of individual knots trying to hold these middle pieces onto the bottom. So this will be hanging out underneath the cage. The rabbits won't be able to get a hold of those, and they'll just be able to nibble on the little bits that are showing from inside the cage. And so that's why I did the bunch of individual knots, so that if they happen to bite through one, instead of just lacing it all, if they happen to bite through it, then it's still going to hold in the other places. Hopefully they won't bite through them at all. That's the goal. That's the hope. That's the hope. We'll see what happens. Anyway, so now I just have to put the one more long side and then the top on, and then cut the doors and make doors. And progress is a good thing. Well, it's numerous hours later. I had to take a break. I have a weak spot in my back, and it told me that I had done enough for right then. So I took some anti-inflammatories and had a nap. So pretty, so nice. And so I have both sides on, and I have my children crammed it into one little spot, and so I gotta try to wedge it back out without scratching my floor. So it's mostly done. I just have to put the top on and cut some doors and make some doors and put them on. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna just take you off of here. There we go. And yeah, look, it's not, yay, there's Millie talking. So we're getting closer and closer to being done. I'm not sure I'm gonna get those girls in here today. They'll just have to suffer for one more day together. Whatever. Okay. Oh, look at that. I have hay in my hair. I was just out with the rabbits. Okay, so back to the rabbit cage that I am making today. So I just finished cutting the holes for the doors, and the size that we cut is, I don't know if you can see that or not. So there's the first one, inside, one hole, door, and we like to cut them 11 inches by 15 inches. That's the size that we find works the best for our rabbits and for our nesting boxes. And then I just went out and cut some more of the, I was telling you about the 3 different kinds of wire that is used for building a rabbit cage. This is the 1x1 inch wire that we used on the top. So I cut some more of that. Here it is. And yeah, it's much darker now. I have enough here to make 4 doors. So I'm planning on making another cage like this in the very near future to put my Rex boys in. So I just have to flatten those out. I cut them 16 inches long. Well, like 16 inches across here. I'll have enough to make 2 doors out of each one. Yay! Oh, right at the end of the tunnel, I'm almost done. And here it is. So here is the door. I said that the opening was 15 by 11. And the door we cut 16 by 12. And they're just attached with the same clips that I used for the rest of the cage. There it is. So this one we have opening this way. That's the middle one. This is the one end. This is the other end. We can't wait to put the girls in it tomorrow. And the last thing to do is attach these door closures. They're like, it doesn't lock, but it's like a lock so that the rabbit can't get out. You attach that to the wire on the door. And then this is a little hook that attaches, that you can just pull, and then you attach it to the rest of the cage proper. There's a little pull tab. So let's see if I can show you how this works. I hate editing, so I'm trying to do it just in one flow here. So yeah, drop that. Sorry. Okay, so we just figure out where the opening is on there, find the middle of the cage door, and you just manhandle it in there, and then it just pulls over and the door is relatively shut. You have to play with the door a little bit to make sure that it closes like you want it to, so it's nice and tight against the rest of the cage. But there we go. Finished. Now to put the rabbits in.